Today's topic will be on nutrition. Well, it really does depend. I mean, at least 2 to 3 liters, which would be your 8 to 12 glasses. But if it's summer, you may be sweating more, so drinking more water would be appropriate. Or if you're exercising, you want to top up. What type of foods you eat. If you have a lot of diuretic type foods like coffee, these things require more water. If you're trying to heal, you'd want to flush your body with water. You see, you have to remember your body's 70% water. So common sense says this should be the most abundant thing that you drink, and is at least in a lot of types of your vegetables, like water retaining iceberg lettuce, for example, or watermelon. And this is the way to get your water intake in throughout the day. Well, any which way you can alleviate stress and improve your body's function will help you when you are stressed. So water will alleviate the stress of dehydration. Chronic dehydration can change even your emotions. It makes you thirsty. It also makes you yawn. See, a lot of times yawning can be the fact that your brain needs more oxygen. And when you're dehydrated, your blood is more difficult giving up its oxygen. The red blood cells start to cluster, and it becomes a little less flowy, the blood. So what happens is you get kind of yawn, and if you drink a liter of water, that can alone help rehydrate you and you can stop yawning. So if I'm getting tired at 4 o'clock, instead of going for a coffee break, try drinking some water. They're used to drinking already things that have flavor, and then all of a sudden I'm telling them, or they're reading about it, drink more water, and they're drinking and they're saying, well, I don't really love the taste. It's hard to get over that. One of the things that's really great for water is lemon. See, lemon creates some more alkaline water. I know it's sour and you think of it as acidic, but in the body, it creates more alkalinity. So alkaline is really great for your health, and it can counteract the acidity of something like coffee. So adding lemon. You can also do teas, but these are again non-caffeinated, more herbal teas. Those can act as water. Otherwise, I really don't want you to get confused by having a Gatorade or even other type of energy drinks, because they're not water and they have other things in them that may or may not be healthy for you. Top 5 foods. Well, it's difficult to give a formula when it comes to eating, but I can give some general rules. One is not processed foods, so eliminate those foods from it. If you're going grocery shopping, it's about shopping in the perimeter, the outside of the grocery. It's like making a square, and don't go through the aisles, because the aisles are where the processed foods are. So eliminate those. Also making sure you're getting fat. I know fat used to be a really scary word, and if you see the aisle for fat-free, you can really understand why you think going fat-free could be good for you. But it's not. Fat has actually been shown now scientifically to be good for you. Not all fats. So we're not talking about the French fry fat. We're talking about fats from either grass-fed like cows or animals, or fish oil, which everyone now knows that a lot of people supplement with fish oil. So having good fat, and of course vegetables. And I mean whole vegetables, not necessarily juicing them. See, when you juice them and you separate the liquid from the fiber, and your digestive system needs that fiber for its health. So having lots of vegetables is, the colors do mean something. There's phytonutrients that make the reds and the greens. So having a very colorful plate is important. And decreasing your processed foods and decreasing your bread would be really effective for most people. In other words, decreasing some of those carbohydrates. Those would be my principles. Otherwise, I can't really think of 5 foods that everyone could benefit from. Well, carbohydrate is a big word because there are some good carbohydrates and there's some bad carbohydrates. But there's a principle about carbohydrates. If it causes your sugar level to spike, it's called the glycemic index, which tells you kind of how likely it'll do that. then it's really not a great carbohydrate. Like a bread is a carbohydrate and it'll cause your sugar level to go up quickly. So is a potato and so is pasta. Those things are gonna cause the insulin, and there's a whole chemical reaction that happens that your body's supposed to happen over time. So a good carbohydrate is something that has less sugar in it, or it has enough fiber that it counteracts the absorption. And that's where, carbs come. Good carbs are your vegetables, and more your vegetables that aren't white, meaning the starches, and those would be considered your good carbs. Well, you're going to work without the proper nutrients to start with. So most of those people that don't have breakfast have a coffee and a muffin. Again, that carbohydrate, and a muffin really is a fancy breakfast term for cake. So don't kid yourself if you don't think you're having cake. Most muffins in the morning do not have nutrients, and that includes your blueberry muffin. However, having a coffee and a piece of cake in the morning is going to spike that insulin level up. It's going to also cause you to most likely crash a lot quicker, which is going to either send you back for that coffee break at 10:30 in the morning, or you're going to reach for something else. So it becomes more of a spiraling effect. It also will increase your cravings of more sugar. My recommendation is a good protein or an oatmeal so that it burns slowly over time and you don't have that spiking of the insulin, which is also another brain stress. Remember, you're talking about office workers here. If they're stressed emotionally, if they're stressed because they're physically, sitting, they do have control on what they put in their mouth. And if we can control that through nutrition, we can alleviate one of the most complex parts of the body, the ability for it to heal, the ability for the emotions in the brain to be more balanced, and you may not feel the detriments of that sitting all day or the fact that your boss is, breathing down your neck. Well, let's try to even eliminate it as your only option. You could bring probably a couple apples, which will keep you from being starving. I do love shakes, and there are really good shakes out there that can quickly add some water into a container, shake it up and drink it on the go, and that'll give you your proteins and your, a lot of vegetables depending on what kind of shake you get. But if you have to go to the fast food and you can't even plan that level, then you can get salads in a wrap. There's lots of different ways to quickly grab something to go. But most fast foods, like McDonald's, will give you options. Wendy's gives you options for healthy options, and that's important. It's making that choice. You see, this even time that we spend together is creating awareness. And until you have awareness, you don't have the choice. But once you have that raised awareness, you have a choice to make. And it's going to become down to your choice as far as how you live your life and the health you choose. Sugar is addictive. There's a movie that just came out called Fed Up, and it kind of shows these MRIs of the brain where they showed sugar is lighting up the part of the brain, and then they showed another picture with cocaine and heroin lighting that same part of the brain up. So sugar is addictive. You have to treat it like an addiction. But the first way I tell anyone is stop making purchases for your house. When you're food shopping, don't bring it home. If you bring it home, you've given yourself permission. And this goes for even if you have children. Children shouldn't be eating any more sugar than you. A lot of parents I'll see will make these amazing health choices, but still for their children, they choose the old way. They don't change, they don't go through that fight of changing for them. And it will be a fight if you're trying to get rid of some of the sugar for your kids. So making that choice is important, getting over that habit. Reading and watching TV, like the Fed Up movie, can really benefit you, and that's on Netflix right now. So there's ways of seeing these movies that are documentaries that are well-versed and really get you into the understanding of how these foods are affecting your brain. Well, if you haven't been doing it for your whole life and your body hasn't, in other words, your liver and pancreas haven't, already gone through the changes, your body will heal very quickly. Your body 1 year from today, most of it's brand new. Your skin is right now regenerating every 3 weeks. Every 120 days, your red blood cells are brand new, which means that if you do something that's positive today, the best part about it is your body will start changing right away for the positive and can start shifting. And that's assuming you're just in the dis-ease part of life, not in the disease, where at that point you may have to start looking at other interventions.